Today is not just a celebration of 70 years. It's a celebration of what happens when love says yes, even when you don't have a plan. Today, we honor a legacy, not built in comfort, not built in courage, but in surrender. This is a story about a boy who went looking for safety and a loving couple who had already been preparing their heart to receive him without even knowing his name. So let's step into their story. So, Patty, before Kenyatta ever knocked on your door, what was God doing in your life to prepare you to say yes?
He was teaching me and my husband a lot about how you can have a plan and it doesn't always happen the way you want to. Things about how we were going to start our family didn't work. We had the threat of infertility. We had miscarriage. We had an adoption that didn't go through. And so all of those things made us say, well, this is obviously not under our control. So it was really a moment of surrender, being able to say, you have a better plan. I know you see this for a future, but how it's going to happen, I'm no longer trying to control it. And then after that is when I did become pregnant and I had John, my firstborn. Yes, John. He was an infant at this time in our story. There was a weekend that came and our church that we were part of at that point was having a retreat and it was called Unleashing the Church. How do you as a community affect
the people that live around you? So we were very intentionally praying at that time with our church. And that was the weekend that Kenyatta appeared on our doorstep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how about this, Patty? Can you take us to that night? A child shows up at your door. What do you do in that moment? A child you've never seen before?
Yeah.
Or no?
Well, he was kind of on the fringes because he used to go outside to play with the dog and the baby. And I really love challenging people's assumptions, even kids. And so the neighborhood we were in is West Philly. I don't know if anybody knows West Philly, but so I was different being out there, and the kids just flocked. They saw somebody who was open, and I loved being with them. So I think that he was on the fringes of those circles. I don't specifically remember his face, but that's how I think. Yeah.
So Kenyatta, before you get to that door in that moment, you had already made a decision in your mind. Can you take us back to that moment, in the moment that you said, I'm not staying here anymore?
I guess in that moment, early that day, I was locked in a kitchen with no way out, just a window, 2 floors up. I decided to climb out and escape from my prison. I ran all day, basically, and about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, police picked me up and told me that they were going to have to take me home. So I thought at that moment in time, her house was the best house for me to go back to.
And what about that house led you there? What gave you the audacity, the boldness to show up there? What led you to that particular house?
Safety.
Yeah.
That's all. I wanted to be safe. I didn't want to be abused anymore. My pride and everything that the woman that I thought was my mom was snatched away from me.
Right.
So I didn't want anymore.
Right. Can we just take a moment and sit with that, the fact that we have a minor making a decision that he no longer wanted to be where he was and had the audacity and boldness to do something different, to change his territory, change his life. So can we clap it up for Kenyatta really quickly? And I just want to thank Patty and Kenyatta for the vulnerability that this story is unfolding right now. So, Kenyatta, what gave you the strength to keep going when you made that choice?
Self-preservation.
Yeah.
That's all. It was self-preservation. I needed to get away from the abuse, the destruction that I was surrounded with. It was enough for me to say it's time to leave.
Right, right. And you knew you had a plan, you had an exit plan, and you knew the house that you were going to was the lady that used to play outside with all the neighborhood kids. You didn't know her name, you didn't know anything about her. You just knew that it was safe.
Yes.
And you were running towards safety.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. What else about Patty and her family made you feel safe, even not knowing her?
Who she was, the way God presented her to me at that point in time was a person with love and care in her heart. She had stability for me to grow, and that's what I needed. I needed love. I needed stability. I needed something other than the abuse and the destruction that I was already set in.
Right, right. So, Patty, coming to you now. So he came back, and he came back again, because he came back one time, and the police said, hey, we got to just take you back home. And what did the police say to you, Kenyatta, that made you come back? Because I think at one point the police said something specific to you. And what did they say?
He said if it didn't work where he dropped me off back home, just come back.
Okay. So we're going back to that night. We have a minor. He shows up to a door wanting safety. The police officer is trying to do the right thing by saying, hey, you got to go home. You can't stay here. But in the event that things don't go well, come back. So, Patty, he came back again in the middle of the night. And now this time, this is the second time he's showing up. What did you say in that moment?
I said, we have to keep him. He came back. I mean, it was so clear, just so clear. And the first time he came back, the first time when he came upstairs and we fed him and we talked to him. And then my husband said, maybe this isn't, we didn't know what we were doing. So he just said, I really think we need to call the police to tell him to take him back. And that's how that part happened. But Steve remembers overhearing him say, the policeman to him. And I have to tell you guys, I don't think that was a real police. I think that was an angel.
Wow.
Because, I mean,
Yeah.
why would a policeman say, oh, bring him to us, do all of that? I don't know. I just think it was a manifest.
Right, right.
And so when he came back, it's just, that's it. He's got to stay. So,
Yeah.
and that was when you came back and you got in the bathtub. Do you remember this part?
Yeah.
There was so much joy on a 10-year-old boy's face to be splashing in a clean bathtub. And that was another confirmation to me. We were doing the right thing. That joy of it was just like overwhelming. Event after event that weekend reconfirmed. We didn't know what we were doing, but we knew we were doing the right thing.
Yes. And for those in the room that are aware of the system and the services that are provided to foster parents and the things that they get when a child is placed in their home, Patty and her family had nothing. No support, no TBI, no therapy, no services at all. They just did it with their heart and the guidance of God, really. So love said yes, but the journey was not easy to both of you.
No.
What did it actually look like in real life? How was the nights and what did we endure? How did things go when Kenyatta arrived? What was the journey to healing and how did it look with him in your home?
We were determined. We were determined that we were doing the right thing, but we didn't have skills or tools. So we learned how to try to respond to negative behaviors that he had, his survival behaviors, and we got pretty good, I think, of catching you. I mean, it was like, catch him.
Right, just get him.
And then you got an opportunity to try to say something, and kept trying. We just kept trying. But then I got pregnant again, and my husband said, we love him, but we just don't know how to manage this. And the caseworker didn't like us at all. So she was not helpful. She didn't understand why me, the Chinese girl, and the white guy who was my husband, we were just nerdy idealists doing this thing. And she really didn't like it that we had this colored kid. So anyway, so we got no support from her. And most people that we were friends were well-meaning, but they didn't understand either how to help us. So we decided we couldn't keep him, but we were still committed. It was never about we're giving up.
Yeah, yeah. And just to think about that, you're new to this. You've never had a child with trauma in your home, and not having the support and the resources from the very person that's supposed to be supporting you, the caseworker, was difficult. So how did that feel for you, Kenyatta, to deal with that?
At the time, it was hard. There's no words else to explain it. It was just hard.
Right.
Trying to figure out a new system of behavior. It's hard to change it from your old perspective of who you used to be. So when I went to like boarding schools and so forth, it was hard for me.
Yeah.
Being bullied, had to fight every day. The loneliness in it all. Even though you had people around you, it wasn't the life that I wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah, at that time, as I grew older, I learned how to fight back and stand my ground.
Right.
And a couple of days ago, I told my mom about it, and she finally realized that all the stuff that I went through was hard.
Yeah. It was hard. It was hard for a lot of our youth that are in care. They go through a lot that it's spoken and unspoken. And even though you weren't in the home with the family, Patty and her family, she still was a permanent connection for you, essentially. Can you tell us what that looked like? Because I know that she was still in your life. You would get calls and visits and care packages and all the things that mattered.
It mattered enough to me to say that I had somebody on the outside still looking after me, regardless if she was there presented in front of me or not. The care packages helped me to understand that I had someone on the outside caring for me still. When she showed up for visits, the kids made fun of her, but I rubbed it in their face. She's here. Who's here for you?
Exactly. They have nobody, right?
Nobody that was ever coming for them. And the weekends that I spent with them was the joyful thing that I had.
Yeah.
And just to rub it in everybody else's face was my number one key that I can hold on to, because I had someone that loved me, that showed up and showed out for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That physical presence means a lot in the visits, and somebody that's outside caring for you. And Patty, what was that like for you to be able to still show up for him despite not being able to be, allow him to be in your home? You still was a constant presence in his life. What kept you going, and how did you?
Well, when you get to know me, you'll find out.
I feel like everyone knows Patty, right?
I do not let go. I just could not. So I figured out a way. And when we'd show up at the group homes, they'd like scratch on their head about who we were.
Right.
Especially because of the racial difference. So my family, we are all different colors.
Yeah.
And we've done this for a long time, of how we look when we stand up next to each other says something all the time, every day. So that's what I had to be when I walked into those group homes and explained to them, I'm still connected to this kid. He's still ours, Yeah. And with us not being able to have him in our home, was never that we were giving up, ever. It was always navigating and holding on until when? Until then. Until that time, which we knew was coming. Right. Just didn't know how it would look.
Yeah. And think about it, even in our own lives, we all need someone. So for Kenyatta to still say that he had someone meant a lot. So Kenyatta, you now work with foster youth.
Yes.
When you look at them, what do you see?
Bits and pieces of me. in them. They're struggling. They're trying to find a place where they want to belong. They're tired of being placed from place to place to place to place. It gets tiresome. And I was with them at one point, and I feel as though that the youth that I work with today are looking just for a family that will love onto them to push them into the right direction.
Exactly.
And some of our youth, majority of our youth need that. And the services that we provide for our youth in Philadelphia helps that. It gives them the connection, the bridge that they need to keep moving forward, to say, I have someone out here who's going to love on me and push me.
Yeah, yeah, and it matters. So, Kenyatta, can you tell us, if you stayed where you came from, what do you think your life would look like today?
Dead or in jail. That's it. Dead or in jail.
Right. So if you had not pioneered at that very young, tender age of 10 years old to make a change in your life and go after what you defined as safety, you would be dead or alive or in jail.
Dead part would be the abuse from my mother was so bad.
Yeah.
The jail part would be if she kept abusing me, I would have took on that behavior. Then I would have abused my wife or my children,
Right.
or did something to somebody out in the street and got myself locked up. So my situation changed. I chose to change my situation.
Right.
And people say that you can't change it. Yeah, you can. It's a
can.
choice. Either you choose to stay or you choose to leave. I left. I wanted better.
Yes. And what boldness he had to be able to do that. And today we can say that Kenyatta has a legacy in his wife and his children that are here today. Can we clap it up for them? That's amazing. Okay, so Kenyatta, what did in the realm of legacy, right? Because we're here talking about legacy. What did Patty give you that changed everything?
Patience.
Patience.
Patience. I was a kid that was just ripping and running all the time. Not focusing, not paying attention to the things that I needed to pay attention to. She gave me patience. She taught me how to use it and to notice where I need to use it.
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing. Now, Patty, when you look at the man that he is today, what do you see in Kenyatta?
I see one of my best friends.
Oh.
He knows my life. I mean, even without how wonderful he is, when you share 40 years, there's nothing that can take that place. But he's always my best cheerleader. He knows what's going on. He knows my life. And then I also see someone who is so intentional about everything that he does know, how he applies it to his family, how he applies it at work, how he's so humble about seeking God for all of that. And our best conversations are when we're thrashing that out with each other about the challenges and how what it's leading us to learn. And those are our best conversations. And I'm just grateful that we can be heart to heart like that. That's what a really good friend is like. And I see a man who's working hard to support his family and to be the best husband and man he can be. I love you.
Love you too, Mom. Love you too.
And then for both of you, I just wanted to ask this. This is not written.
Oh.
If you could leave the guests today with one token or one thing that you want them to remember from this panel, what would it be?
Keep your faith. Trust in your process. Never be afraid to step out of the box, regardless of what anybody else say to you. Keep hold of your own opinion and trust in the process. of what God is going to lead you to do. A lot of people told me that I wasn't going to be successful. I wasn't going to be X, Y, and Z. But here I am now, proving them wrong.
Yes.
I'm a husband. I'm a father. I am a worker. I'm a child of God, and nobody can take that away from me. So if anything, keep your faith. That's the number one key that we have right now in our lives is our faith.
Keep your faith, everyone. All right. So, Patty, that's a hard act to follow.
I would say you can't say yes to the whole world, but you can say yes to the one that's right in front of you. That one yes can always change the next lifetime for that person. But even if you're not thinking about that, you can always do that one yes.
Yes. Awesome. Can we clap it up for them? And I'd just like to end by saying that this story is not just about foster care. It's about what happens when love interrupts a life. A little boy went looking for safety and found a family. A family prayed for purpose, and God sent them a son. Today, legacy is still living, still giving, still multiplying through every life that they touch. May we all leave a legacy.
No, you spilled water.
Thank you guys.